Picture this, two guitar legends, each with a distinct style and a legacy that shaped the sound of rock music, standing on opposite sides of an invisible line. Ritchie Blackmore, the enigmatic and fiery guitarist of Deep Purple and Rainbow, and Jimmy Page, the architect of Led Zeppelin's iconic sound, have long been compared, celebrated, and criticized. However, today, Blackmore shatters the illusion of camaraderie among rock royalty, openly addressing the tensions and conflicts that have simmered for decades. For Blackmore, the story isn't just about rivalry, it's about the man behind the myth. Jimmy Page, known for his brilliance on the guitar and his role in crafting Led Zeppelin's legendary status, has also been a polarizing figure both within the music industry and beyond. Blackmore's revelations paint a picture of a man whose towering ambition and relentless pursuit of perfection often alienated those around him. Imagine two of the greatest guitarists of their generation, each vying for the top spot in the pantheon of rock gods. While fans and critics celebrated their music, the reality behind the scenes was far less harmonious. Blackmore, known for his meticulous playing and sharp tongue, often expressed disdain for Led Zeppelin's approach to music. He viewed their sound as overindulgent, their live performances as chaotic, and their leader, Jimmy Page, as a man driven more by ego than artistry. The tension reached its peak in the 1970s when Deep Purple and Led Zeppelin were both dominating the charts. Blackmore, never one to mince words, criticized Page's technical abilities, claiming that his reliance on theatrics overshadowed his actual skill. For Page, these jabs were deeply personal, adding fuel to an already simmering rivalry. The clash between their philosophies, Blackmore's precision versus Page's improvisational style, became a defining element of their strained relationship. Jimmy Page's brilliance as a guitarist and visionary came with a shadow, a dominant personality that often stirred tension within Led Zeppelin's inner circle. Despite their success, the band's dynamic was far from harmonious, with Page frequently at the center of creative disputes. His relationship with Robert Plant, the golden-haired frontman whose voice became synonymous with the band's anthems, was particularly tumultuous. Together, they were the driving force behind some of the most iconic tracks in rock history, but their creative bond was riddled with friction. Plant's preference for a more organic and melodic approach often clashed with Page's darker, experimental inclinations. Picture this, late-night recording sessions where Page pushed for heavier, brooding tones while Plant advocated for lighter, more accessible melodies. Their arguments were as fiery as their music, moments where passion for their art drove a wedge between two men who relied on each other to achieve greatness. Even within the supposed stability of the rhythm section, the commanding nature of the band's dynamics caused waves. John Paul Jones, the band's quiet yet indispensable bassist and arranger, occasionally found his contributions sidelined. With his mastery of multiple instruments and a knack for creating intricate, nuanced arrangements, Jones often felt overshadowed by Page's grandiose ideas. Imagine a studio filled with tension as Jones's meticulously crafted lines were set aside for Page's towering visions, the air thick with unspoken resentment. Page's quest for perfection and control was both a blessing and a curse. While it pushed Led Zeppelin to the peak of their artistry, it came at a cost, tipping the balance of collaboration precariously and leaving members like Jones frustrated by Page's insistence on steering the creative ship. Although Jones admired Page's talent, the lack of recognition for his own pivotal role in shaping the band's sound led to an undercurrent of discontent that simmered for years. These internal battles weren't merely artistic disagreements, they reflected deeper struggles within Page himself. A man of contrasts, he was both an innovator and an enigma, driven by an unrelenting need to push boundaries but often alienating those who helped him achieve his vision. The conflicts within Led Zeppelin mirrored the turbulence in Page's mind, a relentless pursuit of greatness that left little room for compromise or understanding. Jimmy Page's internal conflicts were not just moments of discord, they became defining elements of his character. His dominance in the band drove their music to unparalleled heights but left a trail of strained relationships and bruised egos behind. Beneath the facade of electrifying performances and revolutionary albums lay a story of tension and human frailty, with Page's brilliance casting both light and shadow over the band's legacy. Outside the realm of Led Zeppelin's legendary music, Jimmy Page's personal life was often as stormy as his onstage performances. By the late 1970s, the relentless demands of fame, grueling tours, and the responsibility of leading one of the biggest rock bands in history began to take their toll. Addiction became Page's shadow, following him into the darkest corners of his career and personal life. It wasn't just the substances that consumed him, it was the emotional isolation they created. Page's battle with addiction left visible cracks in his carefully crafted image. His once commanding presence on stage began to falter, his performances became inconsistent, and his focus wavered. Behind the scenes, the effects were even more devastating. The unpredictability of his behavior, compounded by the haze of substance abuse, strained his relationships with family, friends, and collaborators. Picture a musical genius whose brilliance was dimmed by his inability to escape his own demons, alienating those who had once been his closest allies. The pressures of maintaining Led Zeppelin's legacy only exacerbated the tension in Page's personal life. Jimmy Page's need for control, a trait that had driven Led Zeppelin's success, eventually became an obstacle in his interactions with others. Friends who once admired his talent found themselves walking on eggshells around him, unsure of how to navigate his moods. Collaborators working with Page during this period often encountered a man as enigmatic as he was unyielding. His perfectionism frequently clashed with an increasingly erratic nature. Furthermore, Page's guarded and often combative relationship with the media added another layer to his struggles. Critics who questioned Led Zeppelin's music or Page's role as the band's architect were met with frosty dismissals. To Page, these criticisms felt deeply personal, an attack on the towering legacy he had painstakingly built. His cold and calculated responses reinforced the perception of a man more concerned with preserving his reputation than forging genuine connections. Even within his family, Page's struggles were apparent. The chaos of his public life spilled into his private world, creating a distance that was difficult to bridge. Despite his ease commanding the world stage, maintaining meaningful personal relationships proved to be a far greater challenge. These personal struggles marked not only a turbulent chapter in his life but also left an indelible mark on his legacy. While his genius as a guitarist and songwriter remains undisputed, the toll of his battles with addiction and his guarded demeanor cast a long shadow over his career. It serves as a reminder that even the brightest stars carry burdens, and the weight of their brilliance can sometimes become overwhelming. Page's conflicts extended beyond the music world. In the late 1980s, his feud with the Rolling Stones' Keith Richards became a topic of tabloid fascination. Richards, never one to shy away from controversy, accused Page of overproducing Led Zeppelin's music, calling it too polished for true rock and roll. Page, in turn, dismissed Richards as outdated and out of touch with the evolution of rock music. This exchange added another chapter to the story of Page's contentious relationships. His collaborations outside Led Zeppelin were similarly fraught with tension. His partnership with David Coverdale in the early 1990s, while producing some memorable tracks, was marked by creative disagreements and clashing egos. For Page, who was accustomed to being in control, working with another strong personality proved challenging. Ritchie Blackmore's perspective on Page provides further insight into the guitarist's struggles. Blackmore, known for his own uncompromising nature, saw in Page a reflection of qualities he wrestled with in himself. Their rivalry, though deeply personal, also highlighted the competitive and often unforgiving nature of the music industry. This tension not only defined their individual legacies but also underscored the broader dynamics within the rock world, where collaboration and conflict often walked a fine line. Blackmore's disdain for Page wasn't merely about musical differences, it stemmed from what he perceived as Page's inability to connect with his peers, bandmates, and even his audience. For Blackmore, Page represented the darker side of rock stardom, where talent was overshadowed by ego, and success came at the expense of authenticity. Jimmy Page's story is one of contrasts, characterized by unmatched brilliance and relentless discord. As the mastermind behind Led Zeppelin's groundbreaking sound, his legacy as one of the greatest guitarists in rock history is undeniable. Yet, his journey was marked by both internal and external conflicts, leaving a profound impact on his life and career. Within Led Zeppelin, Page's commanding personality often created tension. His creative clashes with Robert Plant revealed their differing visions, Page's darker, experimental approach versus Plant's melodic sensibilities. Even John Paul Jones, the band's understated bassist, occasionally found his intricate contributions overlooked in favor of Page's grandiose ideas. These tensions, while fueling the band's iconic sound, also added to the pressures within the group. Page's personal life mirrored these struggles. His battle with addiction during the late 1970s and early 1980s strained relationships and took a toll on his health and career. Outside the band, his guarded demeanor and combative interactions with the media further isolated him, cementing his image as a brilliant yet distant figure. Despite these challenges, Page's music remains timeless, a testament to his genius and determination. His legacy is a complex one, a blend of brilliance and turmoil, triumphs tempered by struggles, and an enduring reminder of the cost of chasing greatness.